Dr. Eddie Connor, international speaker, best-selling author, and college professor.
Tell me a little bit about how important it is to have vision and how vision helped you in your journey.
Absolutely. I think vision is of the heart. Sight is of the eyes. You can have sight but no vision and you're still blind. Sight without vision just means you're still blind. And so the fact of the matter is that your vision is what propels you to move forward. It helps you to see revelation in your situation. It helps you to not only see the opportunity, but to seize it. Because vision now is the byproduct for provision. And you got to have it in order to manifest your destiny, walk in your purpose, and really breathe life into oftentimes dead situations, to live through dying places.
How important it is for youth, and I speak to that to say because you went through a critical time period in your life when you were young, and you was at the age of 15.
Right.
And how was it that you was able to get through that difficulty? And what brought you through at that young age with not so much experience in your life to get through that point?
Absolutely. That's a powerful question because oftentimes our youth are perplexed because of the situations that they're living in. If you think about many urban communities across America or just communities that are deprived of opportunity, a lot of people are trying to live out their dream, but they're living in a nightmare. And for me, I was living in that nightmare at the age of 15, to where I was growing up without a father in my home. I really did not understand the whole aspect of what it meant to be a man, because how can you be what you can't see? How can you be what you don't interact with? And I found myself perplexed because at the age of 15, I was dealing with these chest pains. A lot of times we don't want to be vulnerable as young men. We don't want to be vulnerable at all because we see vulnerability as femininity based on what society says, when really vulnerability is true masculinity. You've got to open up. And I refused to open up. And I found out as I was dealing with these chest pains, I was at the doctor and found out that they had to take me to ICU. Could not breathe while watching halftime of a Rose Bowl game. And IVs everywhere you name it. They cut me open. They see my cells in my body are growing so fast they could see them growing with the naked eye. Around my heart, my trachea, my esophagus, my voice box, place I'm speaking to you out of right now. And was told by the doctor after surgery, felt great. He says, you have NHL. Now I thought I was getting ready to be the youngest owner of a National Hockey League team. I don't even like the sport. But he says, no, Eddie, you have non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I said, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, what is that? He says, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. Stage 4 cancer. How could I be afflicted with stage 4 cancer at the age of 15, young black male? Why is this happening to me? He says, don't ask why. That's the question that I asked for the next 18 months, close to 2 years. Chemotherapy and radiation, 5 days a week. You see these waves in my head now. Lost all my hair, lost my self-confidence and my self-esteem, and almost wanted to give up. But if it had not been for the grace of God and for a praying mother who says you got to go to Psalm 118:17, which says, you shall not die but live and declare the works of the Lord. Isaiah 53:5, that he was wounded for your transgressions, bruised for your iniquities, chastisement of his peace was upon you. By the Lord's stripes, you're already healed. So to find the can in cancer, to take my mind to the next level, because the greatest pain was not the chemo and the radiation. The greatest pain was having the mental breakdown while receiving it. And so for me to change my mind, it allowed me to change my situation, think positive in the negative situation, and say, I'm coming out. Is there any fight left in you? You got to reach deep within yourself and say, yes, cancer made me cry, but it's not going to make me quit. It knocked me down, but a knockdown is not a knockout unless you stay down. Get back in the fight to win.
That perseverance.
Yes.
That perseverance.
Yes.
How would you say, because we're speaking to an audience of youth, primarily teens from 13 to 19. In your situation and even after that in your journeys, dealing with failure, how important is failure and how have you utilized and learned from failure and utilized as leverage?
Absolutely. I believe failure is a stepping stone to success. And, we all oftentimes look at the snapshot. We look at the highlight reel. We look at the last second shot that was hit. We look at the person who rocked the stage on the concert. But we didn't see the sweat equity that they put into it. We didn't see the 10,000 hours, as Malcolm Gladwell talks about in his book Outliers, to be the greatest, to be the person who rises to the top, to the pinnacle of success. It's often really traversed through that road of failure. We look at the mountaintop, but we don't see the valley. And I was in a valley situation at the age of 17. I'm sitting in my guidance counselor's office, and she looks at my grades, she looks at the time, she looks at me, she says, Eddie, you're not college material. She looked at my low ACT score, she looked at my not too great GPA, and it was a failure moment for me because she said, don't even think about going to college. Matter of fact, don't even think about community college. Pick up a trade. What she was telling me is that I had failed in these 4 years or 3.5 years of school, and now that's going to be my lot. She looked at me for where I was, but then she didn't see where I could be, because the same person who didn't tell me that I was going to go to college today, I'm not only didn't not only graduate from college, but I'm a professor at a college. Graduated from college 3 times to get a PhD, but for her it stood for a play-hated degree. You see, people will doubt you, but you can't let that stop you. You got to take that place to where you feel it is a failure and say, guess what? Failure is not fatal. Failure is not final, because I've got greatness that's on the inside of me. I will focus and I will finish and I will move to the greatness that's already on the inside of me. And right at that place, right at that moment, through the tears that you shed, through the blood, sweat, and tears, and the years that you pour into it, you got to keep persevering and move your life to the next level and say, guess what? This is not going to be my lot. Because the greater the battle, the greater the blessing. And you can't lose the battle that's in your mind. You can't allow somebody to tell you where you're going to be. A lot of people tell you what you can't do because they don't have the perseverance and the desire to make it happen. So they want to stop you. Don't let anybody stop you, and don't you stand in the way of you getting to the next level. Move beyond it and persevere and move to the place of success.
Really good, really good. I got a few more questions.
Okay, sure.
Let me just make sure they keep the noise down so we don't capture this. And I think I'll lock us in here.
Okay.
I hear him right there. We're going to utilize these pieces for as educational pieces, clips
right.
for youth to learn from.
Okay.
And so we've been capturing a lot of footage from different people. When we talk about everyone from celebrities, we got a real good one with David Banner.
Oh,
Also.
word.
And then we also have some reps from Twitter to from MasterCard, from different corporations and different individuals. You know, you're in good company. So we put all of this here together, and they're speaking right to a lane where they be inspired. And then also for those who are interested in maybe becoming an author. And so now, these kind of, and I'll be back in contact with you again. Just to make sure that we.
And I can get copies of these clips too?
Absolutely.
Oh, great.
Absolutely. Let me call Zay. Otherwise, I'm going to have to crawl through that window. No, I'll go out that way.
So he goes, hey Zay, he wants you to open the door. He said, you're going to have to take the roof off.
I know, right? I love this out, man.
Hey, Zay, we about to take the roof off, man. We couldn't get out.
Climb up and go.
Right. We about to do Mark chapter 2 in here.
I want to get us all have a picture together. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And your man, so we going to the music right now. Your man Blanchard is on the phone. So I wanted to have us kind of have a quick conversation with him when we close out.
Okay.
We can do that.
Is that okay?
What time? When we going right back on?
But we got about a minute and a half.
Okay.
So I just want to run in there, all of us to be close out. Yo, close the conversation with him. We sign off with the book thing, go to the book.
Let's do that. Do that. And then we'll come back. I got a few questions and then we'll wrap. I want to get those.